Hello and welcome to the Cal-a-Vie Health Spa podcast. So glad that you're here. Today, we are going to hear from our nutritionist and registered dietitian, Alexandra Dusenberry. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Happy to be here.
We're so glad you're here. And she's going to share with us how to manage nutrition while traveling. We know that is a huge thing happening right now. Thank you again. We can't wait to hear all of your amazing tips.
Got lots of travel tips for whatever your plans this summer are going to take you to.
Okay, perfect. So I know, again, it's a huge time to travel. And for me, I give a lot of thought to it because I don't want to get stuck eating something that's going to upset my stomach, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to travel with an upset stomach?
It's not the fun thing when you're trying to be out and about.
Yeah. And so I don't want to feel bad. Now, granted, we want to have those indulgences and things like that and enjoy our vacations, or it could be business travel, obviously. Mm-hmm. But how do we manage eating healthy and kind of not getting too far off the beaten path when we're traveling?
So just the same way you treat healthy eating and nutrition at home, having a plan in advance, we really want to treat travel the same way. Having that plan of knowing what your options are for healthy eating wherever you're going in terms of grocery stores and restaurants or stops along the way can make such a big difference. So if you have the time to prep in advance and do a little bit of research, that's the most straightforward way to know as soon as you land or wherever you get to in your destination, you have some ideas to pull from in terms of where to go to get food.
Yeah, I love that. So we've arrived somewhere.
Yes.
And, you know, there's some planning that needs, hopefully it has happened. Mm-hmm. So would we do that by calling the hotel? Like, what are the easiest ways to do the planning upon our arrival?
Absolutely. So let's say you are going to a hotel. Definitely call in advance. Find out if there is a mini fridge in the room or if you can request one. Typically, most hotels will be able to accommodate that. Then you have the opportunity to find out where there's maybe some grocery stores nearby. The concierge can be a great resource for that. They know the area better than typically most of the people who are coming there from outside spaces and places. But asking the concierge is a great way to get some tips and tricks on which restaurants might have some healthy lean salads or some great grab and goes or some smoothies you can get in the morning. They're a really good resource beyond just getting tips and tricks for what to do. They'll know some great healthy restaurants as well.
Yeah, I love that. One of the things you're making me think of my trips to New York City, and I often am staying near Centennial Park. Amazing. Over by the Whole Foods.
Yes.
There's a Whole Foods right there. And I do that on purpose because it's right there and they have all these amazing options. There are obviously other health food stores nearby.
Of course.
But they've got a lot of things that are already prepared that I trust and can eat. And because obviously I'm in a hotel room, I'm not cooking.
Exactly. So having that in the mini fridge, things like berries, frozen, not frozen, but yogurts that you can mix and do a little berry and parfait, maybe having some pre-made smoothies that you can have in the fridge to grab and go in the morning, especially if you are able to squeeze a workout in or a walk around the park, something like that. It's a great way to have that with you handy at all times. I also really like either in advance or picking it up once you get there, some of their instant teas that you can just make. If you have hot water in the hotel room, which hopefully you do, a little Keurig machine or something like that, make some of those teas. We brought up, what if tummy troubles happen? What if something makes us not feel so great? Mm-hmm. Having things like mint teas and ginger teas are a great way to help support any tummy woes that might pop up along the way.
Yeah, I love that. Other things that I will sometimes get, maybe some hummus.
Yes.
And some veggies so that I don't snack on the wrong things. And I've got that kind of, it's just in the hotel. It's easy. Mm-hmm. And so I'll just have a little snack maybe if it's mid-afternoon. I'm trying to hold out for dinner.
Yes, that is the best way to go about it. Get those cut up veggies, get some hummus, and that way you have those great snacks to fill you up before your next meal, and hopefully you're going to go enjoy something exciting and delicious for dinner that night.
Sure. And that's even going to help if you're traveling with kids. Like you can have those things or some of their favorites. Maybe it's a peanut butter sandwich on a healthy bread or maybe in a wrap or something.
Yes. And even for kids, having those snacks can make it really easy and simple to travel with them. So make sure you're not running into any moments where they're hungry. They also have some great bars and some dehydrated fruit crisps like apple crisps where it's just one ingredient. So if your kids really like to have something sweet or typically go for the candies, at least you have that quick grab and go that you don't even have to worry about it perishing when you're out and about.
No, that's perfect. So let's go back a little bit.
Yes.
And we know that this trip is coming up and we're going to be going to the airport, obviously.
Yep.
And I know for me, I oftentimes will pack things,
Yes.
obviously not liquids.
Right.
I bought this super expensive peanut butter once and I was devastated.
They took it.
They took it.
Ugh,
Yeah.
that hurts. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
that hurt. But anyway, I learned. But you can pack a lot of things so that you're not stuck at an airport eating bad food or food that's not nutritionally good for you.
Right.
And in addition to that, I think some airports are doing a little better. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, airports have definitely started getting a bit more health conscious, at least having some options at the different quick grab and go restaurants or the little pop-up kiosks to make sure that you have some sort of protein and some sort of vegetable component combined. One of the things that I found is a little bit of a hack is you might have to shop around at a couple of different spots. So one of my favorite things to make sure I'm staying satisfied with a healthy meal for a full day of travel is always focusing on, is that meal full of protein, whether that be something like hard-boiled eggs or a piece of chicken or a piece of fish, and then also including some healthy fats like avocado, one of my favorite healthy fats that really keeps you satisfied between meals. Sometimes you might go to one of the restaurants in the airport and be able to get something like a chicken Caesar salad, dressing on the side, ask for a little bit of olive oil and lemon. Then maybe you're going to hop over to the Starbucks that has their cups of avocado pre-mashed and add that into your salad. So you can get a little bit crafty and shop around at a few places to kind of build your own healthy, balanced meal. If you've got time and you're waiting around in between flights, something like that, that's a good opportunity to shop around and see what your best options are.
No, I love that too. And something that just popped into my head is sometimes I will take some nuts and hemp seeds, for example, or sunflower seeds or something like that. I'll get that salad and add that to it.
That would be a perfect example. You're bringing in those healthy fats and the protein from the nuts and seeds, a little DIY, and it'll keep you satisfied for when you touch down in the next location.
That's perfect. And I do want to also mention, I know a lot of those salads come with probably way too much dressing.
Yes.
So if you're kind of going along and you can actually ask the restaurant to get the olive oil and the lemons, which would be a good, and even with the olive oil, you want to be mindful of how much.
Absolutely. Yes. Typically, anytime we have a dressing coming along with a salad, it's probably double or triple the portion size that we need to be having with that. So knowing that, keeping that in mind, don't dump the whole container of salad dressing in there. Start with a third or a half of it. Do the trick where you shake that salad container up to really get it all mixed together. You'll find that you probably don't need the rest of that dressing.
Yeah, I'll sometimes dip my fork into it and then let that drizzle.
That's another great way to go about doing that too. Yeah, keeping that portion of salad dressing in check.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, back to the hotel.
Yes.
So I've got to go out to dinner and I've often found myself with a lot of friends and family or whatever, and I'll volunteer to find our dinner place.
That's awesome.
It's on purpose.
Yes.
Do you recommend that? And tell us why we should think that way.
So if you're the, quote, health conscious friend or the most health conscious friend and the one that is really excited to be able to scout out those awesome restaurants that have healthy options, that's the best way to kind of control your food experience and still make sure that it is catering to all of the different people that would be in your group. So yes, if you have the ability and the willingness to scout it out, definitely pre-plan. I love utilizing apps like Yelp and DoorDash and Uber Eats. In those cases, even if you're not ordering to-go food, you can literally type in the words healthy dining, healthy meal, and it's going to populate a whole list of options that are in your area, your radius of how many miles you set to find where are the best spots to go to make sure we have healthy options available.
That's perfect. Okay, so we got to remember that.
Yes.
I know that I've been in situations too where maybe I had little time, so I was like, okay, I think this is going to work.
Yep.
But I would even get to the restaurant and I would in private, because I didn't want to make a big deal about my choices or make anyone else feel uncomfortable. I would go and talk to the server, like I'd excuse myself, go to the restroom and just say, oh, by the way, could you make sure that doesn't have any dairy, for example, or something I want to watch out for.
Yes, that's totally fine. We should never feel bad about asking if we can make some modifications or substitutions because, like you said, if you're on vacation and you end up eating something that doesn't make you feel great, it can affect the rest of the day, the rest of the vacation, you want to be able to enjoy that time. Or if it's a business trip, be on your game. So don't feel bad about asking or making those modifications at a restaurant. But that reminded me of something. Let's say you get to that restaurant and there's really not the healthy options that you thought were there.
Right.
One of the things that can be helpful, especially if you're in a group, is to kind of tag team with one of your friends. Do you want to split an entree?
Oh, great
so as
idea.
soon as that big portion size of the meal comes out, we're known for our large portion sizes in some cases, split it in half right away and have that with your friend. And that way you're already minimizing that portion and still getting to enjoy the meal without having to stress out about it being too much indulgence.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And maybe if you don't have the friend or you don't know the people at the table that well,
Yes.
let's say it is a business trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could have, when that plate gets there, you could go ahead and split it right then. Ask the server for a to-go box.
100%.
They'll keep it in the back for you, or even sometimes they'll split it for you in advance before it comes to the table, I think.
Yes. All great ways to, again, cut down that portion size and make sure you're staying on track with your health goals. And then maybe you take that home, pop it in the hotel room fridge, and you have that portioned out meal for the next day if you're in a pinch. Yeah.
Right. Because with those large portions comes a lot of calories.
It
and
surely
way
does.
too much, right? A day's
Yes.
worth could be in that one meal.
Very easily, and we don't even think about it too much. Especially if we're enjoying company and the food's delicious, it's very, very easy to overeat.
Right.
One of the things that I find also to be quite helpful if we are going to a restaurant and we're on vacation or we want to enjoy some sort of special dish or meal that we're looking forward to, it's kind of what I call the rule of threes. So keeping that entree healthy, your main dish with lean protein and a lot of vegetables, that should be the focus of the plate. Beyond that, let's talk about drinks, appetizers, desserts. It
all adds up.
It really, really does. So one of the ways to really make sure you're picking something that you enjoy while still staying on track is pick one, either a drink or a cocktail with dinner, some sort of amazing appetizer. Maybe you're in Italy and the fresh bread came out of the oven and that's what you want to enjoy. Or maybe it's an amazing dessert that you haven't had in a long time and you really want to savor it. Pick the drink, the appetizer, or the dessert to really enjoy it, embrace it, take that experience in, and then, you're still staying on track with your entree and having a little bit of that fun and balance. We want to make sure it's enjoyable.
Right. I mean, that's great. And it's one of the things that I love about here at Cal-a-Vie, we're about balance.
Yes.
And while all the experiences are phenomenal from, the fitness, the amazing nutrition lectures and workshops that you do, our cooking demos, but the food too is quite delicious. We're we make very conscious choices.
Yes.
So you don't feel deprived.
Yes.
And that's kind of the concept here. Like, you don't have to feel deprived. You just want to be mindful. So you don't want every course to be deep fried.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
that's probably not going to make your stomach feel good either.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love about the meals here at Cal-a-Vie is we are all about making it very flavorful and delicious and a balanced meal. But even with our desserts, people are always surprised, how can I possibly be at a health retreat and be eating dessert every single day? And it comes down to the quality of the ingredients and of course that portion size. Really all foods can fit as long as we're eating them in moderation and keeping that portion size managed.
What is the chocolate? Is it the mousse?
Oh, the chocolate avocado mousse.
Yes.
One of my favorites.
It is amazing.
Yes.
And what I love about it is a small portion. And so at first you might be like, oh, wait, that's a little small.
Right.
But it's rich. And so when you savor it, and that's leading me to another tip, I would think.
Yeah.
Savoring your food, not eating too fast.
Yes.
You're going to feel the balance of that, what you're consuming, and you'll feel satiated much sooner.
Right.
Right.
I love that you brought that up. It comes back to mindful eating. So often throughout our busy days, we're rushing with our food. We might be in front of the computer or during our commute, or maybe it's in front of the TV at the end of a long day. And we're not really thinking about what we're eating or even enjoying it, actually tasting it. But having those times where you can sit down and be very present, savor it, take in all the flavors and the textures, it goes a long way in terms of increasing satisfaction from meals so we don't feel like we're deprived.
Right. And that makes me think about, with this suggestion, and let's say you're traveling alone.
Yes.
You're suggesting, it sounds like, get away from that computer and have your meal, even if it's alone.
Yes.
But you have your meal so that you're more mindful of the whole experience.
Absolutely. It makes such a big difference. And it's also really good for our digestion too.
Yes.
If we're eating distracted or rushing through a meal, our digestion's so dramatically impaired. People will complain about things like gas and bloating after meals or indigestion, and that might come down to really rushing and not actually even perhaps chewing our food efficiently.
Right.
So having that time, even if you're by yourself, to be very present and slow down and savor that meal goes a long way in making sure you actually feel good when it comes time to digest that meal after the fact.
And you're also grateful.
Yes.
It gives you a moment to be grateful for like where you are
Absolutely.
and the amazing food that may be before you.
Yes. All about the gratitude.
Yeah? All about the
Yeah.
gratitude.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take it to the road trip.
Yes, let's go.
How do we do that?
Comes down to pre-planning yet again. Might sound like a broken record, but I love this feature on the phones. Let's say you know your path for your road trip. You know what towns, which cities you're going to be driving through. Along the way, you can actually save different locations in your map app so that when you're touching on those places, let's say you're going through a small town, but you know there happens to be a smoothie shop that has a salad bar. You can actually pin and save that location so that when you're driving to that place and that area, it's going to let you know that it's along your route. So it makes it really easy to stay on track that way.
Oh, that's great. So that's our regular map apps.
Yes.
They're all doing that
Yeah,
now.
you can
Okay.
save locations on the regular map apps. Yes.
Okay, let's say we've got kids in the car or whatever. I mean, I'm not a kid, but I get hungry along the way.
Pack those snacks
Pack
in
the
advance.
snacks.
Yeah, if you have the opportunity to bring a cooler with the ice packs in there, that's a great way to keep some more perishable things on hand, like our cut up veggies and berries and hummus dips and things like that. But let's say you don't have the cooler option. So protein bars are still going to be a great option there. Ideally, we're aiming for ones that are less than 5 grams of added sugar. There are some great options out there at a lot of the health food stores. Just do a little bit of shopping. Definitely have some brands I could recommend, like Aloha bars, which are great. Very low in sugar. It comes down to making sure that that sugar intake's low, still getting that adequate protein in.
Where can they get the Aloha bars?
We actually carry them here at Cal-a-Vie.
right
Funny.
here at
Yes,
Cal-a-Vie, so we
do.
can put that in the show notes.
Absolutely, yes. Love all the flavors. I recommend the peanut butter chocolate chip. It's delicious. But keeping that sugar intake low is very important. Keep that blood sugar balanced to help minimize cravings along the road trip.
Or kids going crazy in the back.
Exactly. We don't want
Like-
too much sugar coming into play there. Maybe it's a DIY trail mix where you throw a bunch of different nuts and seeds in there. I also really like some to-go bone broth packets. So stay with me here. This one might be a little bit more appealing to the adults or you and I who are thinking about getting some protein in to keep us satisfied and reduce those cravings, keep blood sugar balance between meals. If you mix those in with water or you have a little thermos with hot water in it, instant bone broth, 10 grams of protein down the hatch. Really, really simple.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's super simple and
Yes.
easy.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, did you say regular water or hot water, or it doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. You could do either. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's super easy. Now, what about on the way back? We need to think, because we might not have the cooler, or they have coolers that don't need packs. Don't they have some of those?
They do. The more
Do those
insulated
work?
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can certainly prepare.
Of
You could
course,
also,
yes.
from wherever you're driving from, you could, again,
Pick
do
up-
research in advance, find the store before you head back out. Hey, we're going to pop into the store.
Yes.
And
almost
get these.
any grocery store, if you go to like the fish department and ask for a bag of ice, they'll be able to give you one.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I've done that before. I have done
Yeah, go
that. when
ask
I'm
your
like,
fishmonger for a bag of ice,
Yeah.
pop it in the cooler. They'll give it
Yes.
to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. So planning ultimately is what you need to do.
Yes.
And there are lots of tools out there to keep this really simple.
Yes.
I want to go back to Cal-a-Vie for just a second.
Let's go back to Cal-a-Vie.
Okay. So we got to talk about this because, again, the beauty of, we already, explained the different things that you get here.
Right.
But the beauty is that actually we do all the planning for you.
Yes, it takes all of the guesswork and all of the complication out of the entire healthy eating process. So as soon as guests arrive, they're actually meeting with our scheduling team to go over their health goals. Some people might be here for weight loss, maybe they want a healthy reset. So we're portioning out those meals based on the appropriate calorie intake that guest would need. And with that, all of their meals are portioned out for them. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it really takes all of the stress out of knowing what to eat, how much to eat. We are preparing all of that for our guests.
I love that so much. And so if our guest, which I see them doing this all the time, they do take their time at their meals.
Yes,
they
we encourage
enjoy
that.
it.
Yes,
because we want them to have that experience. They're also meeting new people oftentimes, or
Absolutely.
they'll come here as a retreat with friends or family. That
Yes.
happens, and they're just having a great time. Like, this is a true life-changing retreat.
Yes.
And to take that component of how much do I eat when I'm there,
Right.
that sort of thing, we take that out. I mean, unless somebody doesn't want it, they can also say,
Of course.
I want everything and as much as possible. I mean,
Yes.
they could certainly request that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We are willing and more than happy to accommodate any of those needs based on whatever someone's goals are, whether it is with those calories in mind or if they just want to be able to intuitively eat what they enjoy and what they're used to. I will say with our portioned plates, it's always a great learning opportunity for guests that I work with in private consults and doing one-on-one nutrition guidance. I say, look at your plate. If we're trying to lose weight, how do you carry this home with you? Take pictures of those meals. You have your protein servings portioned out. You know what a serving of a carbohydrate or some vegetable should be, or how big you should aim for your desserts and treats to be. That way, when they're out at home or at restaurants, they have a really quick reference to go to and say, when I was at Cal-a-Vie, this is what my 3-ounce serving of fish looked like. I know when I'm out at a restaurant or when I'm home cooking, I can really model it after that and stay on track.
Yeah,
so it's a good teaching tool.
They feel great when they're here and they want to continue that. And so that leads me to, if someone wants a private consult with you over the phone, we do that.
We
right?
offer phone and Zoom consults all the time. Absolutely. So wherever you are in the world, and if you're traveling, we can still help you stay on track.
Okay. Plan in advance.
Yes.
Call the concierge.
Absolutely.
Ask the hotels to help you out. Know what's in the area. And then just use the apps to get a sense of what's out there as well.
Absolutely.
Look online at their website, get to know the menu. I will often do that before I go, and I'll decide what I'm going to have in advance so that I don't get there and get either tempted or feel any sense of stress because, they don't have anything on here that I like to eat. Because for me, I have practiced healthy eating for so long, and I'm not going to say I'm perfect. I'm by no means. And you remind me to indulge sometimes, and I always appreciate that.
Yes.
But I like to be prepared in advance, know what I'm going to have so that I don't have any sense of stress, because I enjoy eating healthy because it's how I feel best.
Absolutely.
So if I'm prepared, then I don't have that anxiety, honestly.
Yeah, and sometimes people get anxiety when they're ordering with a big group of people if there's going to be the temptations and the pressure to change their order. Be the first one to place your order. That way you don't have the temptation of going around the table of everyone else getting their indulgent dishes. You get your order in first, and then no one can sway you any different.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna grab that tip. That's my biggest takeaway.
Every dinner party, Kira's going first.
I'm going first. Who wants to order me?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much
My
for
pleasure.
sharing all this amazing information. And I can't wait till we get to chat about something again very soon on the next podcast with you.
Yes, stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you, Alexandra.
Thank you.